Dr. Yan, welcome to WION.
Good morning, Paki. Thanks for having me.
You've created quite a stir with your claims. Why do you say that the Wuhan virus was made in a laboratory?
Okay, as I mentioned in my first report, and also I will stress the other thing from the next coming report, that the evidence left in the virus genome from the SARS-CoV-2 virus clearly show that this virus is not from nature, and it is based on the Chinese military discover and own the very special Zhoushan bat coronavirus ZC45 and ZXC21 after the lab modification and become this harmful, highly contagious and lethal virus. So there are all the scientific evidence I presented in my two reports. Besides, I have other intelligence and based on my knowledge. So altogether, people can understand later that it definitely come from the lab.
The charges against, or the criticism against you is this, that you did not go for a peer review, that your study may have a negative impact on the efforts to fight this pandemic. The University of Hong Kong, where you were doing your research, said that you never conducted any research on human-to-human transmission of the coronavirus and that your claims have no scientific basis. Why do you think so many scientists from the world over are challenging what you're saying?
Because Chinese Communist Party are scared of the fact, and also their friends, they're scared of the fact are revealed that at that time they will be blamed. What I can tell you is you can go to search my paper. They said I'm just a hamster keeper. I'm someone who knows nothing. But I have the co-first author paper in Nature, which is a good paper recommended by excellent by the scientists for the animal model and the transmissional model in COVID-19. And I have a very high citation Lancet infectious disease paper in COVID-19. I also have my patent for the universal influenza vaccine on pending. All this together show if Hong Kong you deny my work, that's hilarious, and I have evidence that I was secretly signed for this investigation.
You've made some very startling claims, and you've said that they knew about human-to-human transmission. They knew that the virus had a high mutation rate. How much did the top levels of the Chinese government know at the time of the outbreak? Do you believe that President Xi also knew what was going on?
This is a communist party-ruled government. Trust me, these things all come to the top, and not only among the top people. For this kind of human-to-human transmission, at that time, although in early January, there were some experts from the headquarters in the China CDC coded to the journalists and also allow it to be spreaded. But the other experts in this field, including the doctors and even just the local doctors, they knew this is a lie because there are already family clusters happened in Wuhan.
So you were told that you should not cross the red line. You've said that a WHO-affiliated lab was aware of the high mutation rate and human-to-human transmission, and they too hid the information. Was the WHO also equally a part of this cover-up, only this lab, or to the highest levels?
My previous lab was the core team which fights with the virus and did a lot of great study. So these are the top bench of the coronavirus virologists. They are behind the WHO, provide the technique, consulting the information, and also give them support. So there is no doubt that they already know the information. I respond to them, and they have established their own directly that page to the Chinese CDC, as I know. And also, they respond to WHO. So WHO definitely know it because they rely on that to do the surveillance and to give the consultant.
What do you think this report does to Xi Jinping's global image? How do you think the Chinese government would have responded when you first came out with your accusations?
I don't know how exactly she's thinking now, but what I know is Chinese Communist Party tried to make me silence from even end of April when they know I'm the one who who delivers a message out through the oldest broadcast from mid-January and kept doing that. So they tried to make me disappear, and after I escaped, within hours, the whole government knew these things, and the Hong Kong policeman, the Ministry of Security State in Beijing, and also my hometown Qingdao's policeman, they work together.
So you know how the Chinese Communist state operates and how they would react. But were you surprised when Twitter also suspended your account for fake news?
I'm not that surprised, although they even shut down my anonymous another account which shares the same phone with my official account. That means totally they trick my IP and try to make me shut up. And also Facebook did it. But I already know that Chinese Communist Party and their friends, they are very powerful. They are very influenced. And that's not the first thing Twitter or Facebook did. For example, I complained about the fake account under my profile for months, no response from them. And also, they just shut down me, but they allow the other people like the Chinese minister like Zhao Lijie or Hua Chunying telling the virus come from salmon, come from outer space, come from US. So I'm not that surprised.
So you're saying that the Chinese regime is influencing social media giants to silence critics?
I think that is something now more and more well known by the public now.
There's a lot that has been written about China's funding and influence on the press, on think tanks, on institutes. You're saying they're influencing social media giants. Do you believe the Chinese state can also influence studies and research on the Wuhan virus?
Of course. I've been there for many years. I studied, get my MD, PhD degree from the two top medical universities in China. I knew many people have my vast network in hospitals and in institutes, including the army ones, also the authorities in China. And also I work in Hong Kong for many years, now 8 years almost, and in the WHO lab for over 5 years. So all my experience and my knowledge can tell you Chinese Communist Party's money and power influence the whole world far more beyond your imagination. And they are using a very, hidden way. And even some people, they get influenced, but they don't understand. Or finally, when they realize they have conflict of interest, but they cannot tell it out, or they are scared of these things.
Dr. Li-Meng Yan, thanks very much for joining us here on WION, and stay safe.
Thank you, Paki.